Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is our team selection for Game Week 15, but first, let's have a quick look back on how we did in Game Week 14. A decent game week with a total of 72 points. The second week of our wildcard paid off with returns from Pickford, Dalot, Cancelo, White and Salah. Last minute team news from the Man City game meant that we had to make late changes to the team. I decided on benching Haaland and Foden and transferred in Brian Mbeumo as the best playing striker I could afford. Luckily he got an assist and 4 points from the Wolves match. Unfortunately Carvalho didn't feature for Liverpool, so Foden came in for the 1 pointer. I was happy with 72 points, but gutted for Saka coming off injured early in the Forest match. There was real potential for a huge score this week. Let's hope he's okay in time for the World Cup. 72 points meant that our overall rank rose from 3.7 million to 3.3 million in the world, an increase of just over 11%. I'm fairly content with that for now considering our poor start to the season, but hoping to gain some momentum going into these final 2 game weeks before the break. But now it's time for our Game Week 15 team. Starting in goal is Jordan Pickford for the home game against Leicester. He scored 17 points since I brought him in on the wildcard 2 weeks ago, and I don't see any reason why Everton can't continue that great defensive form going into these final 2 fixtures. First up in defence is one of our biggest flops so far, Virgil van Dijk, one of the few players I regret bringing in on the wildcard, but I feel like I have to play him in this fixture against Tottenham. Both Liverpool and Spurs have been inconsistent with their performances, both in the scoring and defending departments, but this just jumps out to me as a game that could go either way. Joining him is João Cancelo for Man City, perhaps fortunate to get a clean sheet last week against Leicester. However, I fully expect City to shut out Fulham at home this week, and Cancelo always has the off chance of an attacking return. I can see Man City scoring multiple goals and dominating this game. It's just a question of whether or not they can deal with Fulham on the counter-attack. Next up is Trippier for the away match against Southampton. Newcastle are definitely one of the surprise packages this season, looking very strong in both attack and defence. Trippier brings composure and stability to the back four, and his attacking threat is always there. Not much more needs to be said about why we're including him this week. Finally in the back four this week is Diogo Dalot. We got the prediction right last week that Man United would beat West Ham and keep a clean sheet, and once again, Dalot was an essential part of that result. On the eye test he plays in quite an advanced position on the pitch, and I wouldn't be surprised if he picked up an attacking return before the World Cup. An interesting game this week away to Villa. I wouldn't be surprised to see this one go either way. First in our midfield is Phil Foden. Another disappointing pick on the Game Week 13 wildcard, as Foden's been benched in his last 2 Premier League fixtures. However, as they've already obtained top spot in their Champions League group, I fully expect Pep to rest almost all of City's strongest starting 11 against Sevilla, and I feel like Foden will be one of those players. Hopefully he gets 70 to 80 minutes out on the pitch at the weekend. Joining him is Mo Salah for the game against Tottenham. Similar to Van Dijk, I have low expectations for Salah this week, so any return will be a bonus. I may as well hold on to them both for their next week's home fixture versus Southampton. Something tells me that this Tottenham-Liverpool fixture will be a high-scoring encounter, and hopefully Salah can be involved. Next up is Gabriel Martinelli, who plays away at Chelsea this week. It's a tough game on paper, but you wouldn't put it past Arsenal to score once or twice against any opposition in the league this year. We've now built up a lot of value in Martinelli from 6 to 6.8 million, and I don't see any reason to sell him. Arsenal's fixtures are mixed following the World Cup, but I still don't think there's a player at Martinelli's current price who offers better value. Lastly in midfield is Saka away at Chelsea. If Saka is available for this game, the plan is to play him and roll the transfer going into Game Week 16. However, if Saka's injury is more long term, the alternative is to replace him. Currently I'm either looking at Man United midfielder, Trossard from Brighton, or Rodrigo from Leeds. Let me know down below in the comments which move you think is the best option for this week. This week we're playing 2 up top, and firstly it's Erling Haaland for Man City's home game against Fulham. It's difficult to know whether Haaland will be ready for this match, but once again the plan is to play him and hope he's involved in the team. City will be doing all they can to include him in these 2 final Premier League games because it's highly unlikely they include him in any of their cup games, and we already know he's not involved in the World Cup. If he's not involved, I think the best option would be just to hold on to him until the Premier League restarts in December. Finally up front is Mbemo for Brentford. When picking him last week, I was well aware that Ivan Toney was on 4 yellows and had a chance of missing this fixture away against Nottingham Forest. It was strange to see that situation become a reality. The fact that Mbemo is Brentford's second choice penalty and free kick taker makes him a very interesting differential for this week, and any points gained from him should result in substantial rank gains. Which means that on the bench this week we have Begovic, White, Carvalho and Greenwood. A fairly weak bench, but I'd be happy for Ben White to come into my team if one of the first 11 were to miss out. The plan is to roll the transfer this week, but if news comes in that Saka is out for a while, then he'll be the player I replace. All that leaves is for captaincy, and this week it has to go to Erling Haaland again. If he's fit and starts this match, I can't see anyone else in my starting 11 matching his potential points return. If he's out, then I'll consider either Salah, Cancelo, Foden or Trippier. However, I'll be looking out for early team news ahead of the 3 o'clock games on Saturday before making a final decision. So that concludes our Game Week 15 team selection. I'd like to know how many dilemmas you've got in your team currently this week. Let me know down below. And best of luck for the weekend ahead, and I wish you all the biggest green arrows.